YouTube, what is up? All right, I thought I'd give you some driving impressions of the new Honda Talon. I got to take it out last weekend. I want to thank my friend John at Rokblokz for letting me test and ride his machine. It was really cool. I took it out to some desert, finally got some dry ground. It's been raining just like 3 weeks straight, and I had one day, and it was pretty dry besides a few puddles and a ton of sheep that I had to go around, but really fun. If you guys saw the other videos, you saw some of that footage. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about kind of how I felt about actually driving the machine and what I think about it. These are my opinions. You know, you can make your own conclusions, but just what I thought. So I'll just get into it. I'll get into some of the good stuff. I think it's a really high quality, like everybody else has said. I really like the quality of the machine. Everything felt good. I really enjoyed driving it. Not a lot of squeaks and rattles, just really, really fun to drive, and it felt like a really good machine, especially for somebody's first side-by-side in a long time, sport side-by-side. Transmission, so let's get right into it. That's probably the highlight of the Honda. I think that's what most people are interested in, is not having a CVT and having a DCT, a dual clutch transmission. I felt like it worked excellent. It was really fun to go through the gears and just rip, and it was a good time. So I really liked the transmission. That's definitely, you know, that's definitely probably my favorite part about the side-by-side. It was really fun to shift. So I enjoyed that. When I was hauling butt, I didn't want to shift it. I just put it into sport and let it do its thing, because you're spending, that's a lot of, it's just one more thing to do to shift it. So I definitely had it in sport, and you can concentrate on reading the terrain and just kind of cruising, and it does a great job in sport of really getting the most out of the engine with that transmission. So I really liked it. The four-wheel drive seems to work really well. I kept it in four-wheel drive most of the day. I felt like it gave it a little more stability, and I just enjoyed it in four-wheel drive, and I think it's a pretty efficient system, so it's not taking a lot of power if you run it in four-wheel drive. So I really liked the four-wheel drive. The steering feels awesome. Good feedback, and did what I wanted to do, and had good assist. So I think they really nailed the steering. I think it's a nice setup. The seats, I said that I like the seats. They're comfortable, totally good enough for a stock seat. So I really like that. I'm glad they gave us a decent seat. I think a really nice suspension seat would still be a nice addition to the Honda, but overall, no complaints with the seat. I love how the Honda sounds. You get a really, so a big part of anything is like the emotion you get out of it, and you get really good satisfaction driving the Honda, just hearing it kind of scream all the way up the RPM range and then shift, and you get to do it again, and it's really fun. It is really fun having that cool engine sound and being able to go through RPMs like that. You know, with the CVT, you're just kind of, you get up to 8,000 RPMs and it just holds it there. This thing, you're able to go, you know, you're up to 9,000, shift, you know, so it's really cool. I really like the way it sounds. It's really fun. So the engine, like I said, is very high quality. Like others had said, it's underpowered to me. It's just not, it's not quite enough. I think it compares okay with a YXZ or an XP1000, and I know that's the market you're going for, but if you're coming from a Turbo S or an X3, you're just gonna feel like it doesn't have enough power. It took me a while to get to 60, and you have to drive it aggressive to keep the speed up in it. And so I wish it had more power. I mean, I just do. But all in all, it was fun, and it's adequate, I guess, for the class. And let's hope that in the future something else comes out with more power. Let's see. I don't like the display. It's just not that good. I wish they would have done a little better job with the display, and I wish it would have been more centered, like behind the steering wheel. Trying to look over at your RPMs or something while you're driving in the center of the vehicle, while you're trying to read trail in front of you, is a pain in the butt. So not stoked on their display. I hope they can maybe change that in the future. I mean, it's okay, but I'd prefer something better. Good visibility out of the Talon, so I really liked that. It was easy to see around, and it was nice. Let's see. I wish it came with 32-inch tires. So John's has 32-inch tires on it. I think it was brilliant. He did the lightest set of wheels and tires that he could find. And I think it might have took a little power, but the trade-offs of having the more clearance and more tire and it just makes the machine so much better. So if you have a Honda Talon, consider a set of 32-inch tires, but make sure they're light. You've got to keep the setup really light. And it's cool that you can change your wheel and tire setup and it doesn't mess with clutching. So it might take a little horsepower from the machine, but it's not like you're not blowing belts or having problems that way. So anyways, I wish it came with 32s. I think if I bought a Talon, that's like literally the first thing that I would do. It needs a front sway bar. So I felt like the front end is moving too much side to side. And yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't do a front sway bar. So yeah, I just feel like there's too much roll in the front when you're driving it aggressive. The suspension is harsh. So I'm sure there's some aftermarket, some guys that can work on the suspension and make it better, but it was too harsh for my liking. I just felt like, yeah, it wasn't soaking up things the way an X3 or a Turbo S would. And so you're going to want to do a little work on the suspension. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm sure Shock Therapy and my buddy at Desert Speed will come up with some good solutions to fix the suspension, but it needs a little work. It's too harsh. The rig's a little twitchy, and that could be due to the harsh suspension, but I felt like I was chasing my tail a little bit. I felt like the back end was moving around and I was having to kind of correct and keep it going straight. And so, yeah, just some overall refinement on the suspension will probably go a long way in the Talon, and if I bought one, that would be something that I would definitely work on. Yeah, so I think it's reasonably priced. It's a pretty cool value. If you want a DCT, which is cool, I don't think they're the end all. I mean, I really have enjoyed my CVT and my Turbo S. I still have never blown a belt, but it is fun. It is something different. So I think it's okay. It's a $21,000 machine. I wish it had more power, but it is fun. It's really fun to go through the gears. I need to try it in other terrain, so it'd be cool. Maybe I'll be able to borrow it again and go up the mountains or go out to the dunes and try some different terrains, but it seems like it's reasonably priced. The only problem is there's other stuff out there. I mean, would I buy it over a WAG Z1000? Probably, because the transmission's probably worth it, but over an XP Turbo, because I mean, that's the problem. It's 21 grand. That's an MSRP for a base kind of 64-inch XP Turbo. But I looked online just to see what was available. People are selling brand new Turbo S Velocities for $21,000. And would I take a Honda Talon over a Turbo S? I don't think so. I mean, it's a better, a turbo machine, double the horsepower. I just wish they would have came up with something a little bit more extreme. With that being said, if it had a turbo and they would have came out with something like 180 horsepower with a little bit better suspension, I mean, it would be unbelievable with that transmission. It would be so much fun, but I just think it needs a little bit more. Yeah, so that's basically it. I had a blast driving it. I think it handles good. I like the steering. The suspension I feel like needs a little work. The motor seems like a great motor, but I wish it had more power. Transmission runs good. I have no complaints on the tranny. Yeah, it's a good machine. And if you're a Honda guy, or if you're not into wide open stuff like as much as I am, going super fast, then I think you'll love it. But I just felt like, yeah, I just wish it had more power. So I'm not gonna really call it a negative, but I just wish at the end of the day I want a little bit more, and it's kind of what I thought it was going to be, but it is still fun, and it rips pretty good. So I think most people will be happy with the Honda. I can't wait to see if they make a 1000 RR Turbo. I think it'd be amazing. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the footage. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.